If only I had spidey senses, so I can tell when something's wrong. Oh, and I've been sent to protect this heart from breaking into pieces. Where's my hammer? Where's the shield? Oh, the strength to carry the weight of the world. Fly high into the sky. I'll catch you if you fall. I'll catch you if you fall. Fly high into the sky. I'll catch you if you fall. I'll catch you if you fall.
Now, here's your host, DJ Host with the Most.
What's going on, everybody, and welcome to the latest episode of Snap Decisions. I am your Snap DJ, your host with the most, coming to you from what is today? Friday. Yeah, I know, I'm late. I know, but I have a good excuse this week. It was my youngest's birthday, 22. Oh my gosh. 22. Gee whiz. I don't even think I can remember that far back to my 22nd birthday. But anyway, so, a lot of stuff going on and things like that. So I'm recording very, very late night on Friday. It's almost getting to that midnight hour. Kind of like our friend Billy Idol used to sing in the midnight hour. She wants mo, mo, mo. But yeah, we have a lot to talk about today as usual. I'm not going to try to make this one go as long. I know they've been quite long the last few, 2 hours plus and stuff like that. So might make it this a bit of a shorter one, but basically the agenda, what we're going to cover, we're going to talk about the balance changes. We're going to talk about the OTA, in the spin. And, of course, I've got some other stuff to talk about here. So we're going to go over, we'll, of course, get into Comics Corner, and we'll talk about the new cards, of course, over in comics. That came out this week. And let's see, I'm going to go to my agenda here because, this is why I put these things, you wonder why I put these things out on Twitter. It's because I know that I'm probably going to forget. I know that I'm probably going to forget the stuff if I don't write it. So yeah, thoughts on High Voltage Overdrive a little bit. I'll talk about that. The request line for everyone that listens. Your thoughts, of course, on Lin Lie and High Voltage Overdrive. But I also had a question out there as to the OTA changes. So we'll go over that too in that section. Talk about the game, of course, my week in Snap, in the Snap Talk section. We'll talk about decks and variants and all that kind of good stuff. Then we'll go to Comics Corner. We'll have Lin Lie and, of course, Dragon Lord. Dragon Lord is very interesting. I didn't realize, it's not a character I'm super familiar with, but I didn't realize how old that character is. I had no idea. And I had to look up and read up some stuff on my own about it. And then we'll go, of course, we'll cross over into the MCU Minute. We got the last trailer, which I will do the audio for on here. And we'll listen to that. And but that is supposedly the last one. Now we have a running Doomsday clock that's going on their YouTube channel. And believe it or not, people are watching this thing constantly. I think the first day they had over 2,000 people sitting there watching a clock tick down, which is insane. Don't tell me that people aren't fired up about this movie because, anybody who would sit there and stare at a clock thinking that something's going to happen is nuts. We're also going to talk about an announcement from the Russo brothers talking about the Doomsday teasers, or are they? We'll get to that. And we'll go over that last trailer. It's what's supposed to be the last one, at least for a while. And now what I'm hearing there is the Spider-Man trailer might be coming sooner than we think as well. So we'll get to all that in the MCU minute. I'm going to tell you what my most anticipated movies of 2026 are as well. And that's any genre movie. So not just superhero stuff, which there's a lot. But I'm going to talk about my most anticipated movies that are coming out this year. I've got a Star Wars news item in there too. So for you people that are Star Wars fans like me. Then we'll go to Pixel Perspective. And again, I'll give you my most anticipated video games of 2026, which I'm looking forward to the most, and I'm definitely going to end up buying. And then, of course, we'll get to the Lyric Challenge. Now, I really messed up with the Lyric Challenge last week. You could tell I was doing the pod when I was tired because I did a repeat. For how many of these I've done, which hasn't been a ton of them, and I repeated one. So I totally forgot. I'm thinking to myself, I had to have used this, and I did. So it was Iron Man, it was Ozzy, and I had forgotten. That was probably one of my first ones that I've done. But I was just by that point the last week, I was getting kind of tired, and I had to find a lyric, and I'm like, oh boy. But I realized I kind of realized about it maybe 20 minutes after I did it. I'm like, oh boy, that was bad. So, I'm still thinking of ways that I want to do that. And again, I don't know. I don't think I've gotten the right way yet. If any of you guys have ideas for that, please let me know. And I still do that. Look, there's still one season pass code, one code that I'm trying to give away, and it has not been claimed. So sometimes it's tough to get the YouTube commenter people, get a hold of them because they leave a comment and then they may never go back to the YouTube channel, or they leave a comment and they don't check on it to see if there's a response. And that's the only way I could get in touch with some of them. So there's still one that is not claimed. So I am going to figure out a way to get that out there. And it's going to be, going to have to award it, sometime this week because, we're getting on in the month. I don't want to give it out too late because by that time, everybody's going to have it. So I still do have one. Again, if you didn't get one and you're listening to the show on audio, let's see what we could do. Comment, what your favorite change on the OTA was. So comment on the pod what your favorite change was for the OTA. So you can send me a comment via Discord, my DMs on X. No, you know what? I keep forgetting about that though too. You have to follow me on X in order to send me a DM. I kind of always forget about that they instituted that rule. You never really used to do that or had to do that before. So leave a comment on, I get notifications on some of them. Some of them I don't. Leave a comment on Spotify. Leave a comment on Spotify because those I see. The Apple ones I sometimes get notified for, but sometimes I don't. So I apologize to any of you that listen on Apple. I don't get to see a lot of those sometimes. So head over to Spotify and drop a comment in there as to what your favorite OTA change was. What was your favorite change of the latest OTA that I'll be going over? And I can award you a season pass. Now just make sure though that you make sure that you follow up. Make sure that you look at the comments, because if I choose you, I will end up commenting back. And then we kind of have to figure out a way to get you the code. So, if you're not on Twitter or something like that, where it's easy for me to send it to you, I would have to send it to you in the comments over there. So just make sure that you check the comments, after you do so. So if anybody out there does not have the season pass, and I know it's kind of late already, but if you don't, then that's a way that you could win one. So, but anyway, yeah, I apologize for that, for the lyric thing. And again, like I said, if any of you thinks of a better way that I could do that, please let me know. Speaking of music, there was, I guess, MTV. Now, I wasn't aware. When I heard this post, people are saying MTV was finally taken down. It wasn't taken down here. because it's still on network. I still see it. Now they don't run music videos anymore. They don't do any of that stuff. They have all their reality shows and all that kind of stuff. That's on that one show. Oh my God. That one show, they were one of the places that I worked recently. They used to have it on in a break room a lot. And whenever I go in there, there was this one show, and I don't know if you guys know the name of this show because I would never watch it. There's no way I'd put it on. It was kind of like a panel type thing. And I think they would watch videos or they would do, but whatever it was, there was a woman that was on there and oh my God, was she annoying. Like her voice, her laugh, like, oh dear Lord. If you ever watched this show on MTV, you could let me know what it was, but I would never, ever watch that show. And I remember they would have it on a break room. I would get up and shut it off. That's how much she would annoy me. Oh my God. And I don't know if that was the way she was supposed to be, but good Lord. I just couldn't do it. But I guess what they were referring to, is overseas. And so I guess MTV with videos might have still been happening overseas. Now I wouldn't have known that. But apparently, it's still been going on like it was in the past. They would still show music videos, and stuff. So I didn't really know what was going on with that. I do know that somebody created a website though. That's pretty cool. The guy like compiled all these music videos and made his own MTV like website. And has like all the stuff from early MTV, like the first day, the first night of the videos. He has Headbangers Ball stuff. He has, all that stuff going on over there. So it's pretty cool. I wish he was allowed to do an app, but obviously he can't because I'm sure there would be copyright stuff that he would have to deal with. He's doing it kind of like Wikipedia where you could donate, money. To kind of help him. It has a thing on there that says "Buy me a coffee" or something like that, and you could donate to the to the channel. So if you're into MTV, it's out there. It's online, and it's pretty cool. So always fun to talk a little bit about music because that's kind of what I base this. Even though it's a Marvel Snap podcast. I do it in a bit of a different way, and my DJ background comes into play quite a bit. I am still obsessing and listening to Sleep Token. I cannot get enough of this band. I went and bought myself a T-shirt on Amazon for them because I have to show my support. But they are just, oh my God, like some of the songs, Caramel, Gethsemane, I think the name of the one. Their latest album is phenomenal, and it's one of my. Like I said, the songs are just stuck in my head. I'm gonna have to see this band because they are outstanding, absolutely outstanding. And now I'm just watching like YouTube videos of people that like the vocal coaches that watch that listen to the music and they kind of delve into it, pick it apart a little bit. Just people that are fans of the band and stuff like that. They are just amazing. I absolutely love them. And I can't really say that I've fallen for a lot of newer music. I'm kind of old school and I'm kind of set in my ways. I listen to a lot of the older stuff. There's not a whole lot of new music that I like. In fact, I was having a conversation once with my youngest, and my wife was in the car, and I remember that telling them both, I'm like, I don't understand how you guys can listen to the music that's out there. My wife listens to the newer popular stuff too. And I said, I'm listening to this music and there's no guitar. And that is like just unbelievable to me that you can have a song without, but a lot of it is so computerized. And, my friend who owns the recording studio and was talking to me just a little bit ago, and he kind of told me how different it is for him. When somebody comes in and wants to put a couple tracks on out there, he said they don't know how to play an instrument. He said many cases they don't even sing really well, and they let it up to him to kind of like fix it and make them sound better and stuff like that. And he said it's crazy, and now I kind of know how my parents felt, right? Like when I was growing up and when I was a kid and I'm listening to Kiss, right? Or, some of the bands that I listened to like in the late 70s, early 80s. And my parents are coming off of the era of Elvis Presley and Neil Diamond and, people like that. And they're the people that and my dad and mom listened to like old school country as well. Like I can remember watching the show Hee Haw all the time, and listening to like Conway Twitty and Roy Clark and, old school country, which was very twangy and very, very different from country and Western that's out there today. They don't even call it country Western. It's so much more like rock than it is country. Obviously like older artists like Dolly Parton, they would listen to her and so and I can remember them kind of saying the same thing. I can remember how sad my mom was when Elvis passed away. And, I didn't really understand it because it's like, he was a musician. You listen to him, but now I get it. Now I get it. Ace Frehley from Kiss recently passed, and, I was very, very sad. One of the people that you you listen to a lot. You devoted a lot of time in your life to. And music's always been that for me. It's always been there for me, and I'm really glad that I was able to find a band that's newer that I'm really a big fan of. The music just really speaks to me, and I'm not sure why, because it's a combination of genres. That obviously the metal, I was always kind of a metal fan. But the rest of it, the rap part of it, the vocals and stuff like that, I can't say it was ever really a big fan of like old school rap. Now I'm talking, you listen to rap music, I'm talking like Grandmaster Flash, I'm talking Run DMC, very, very early on, rap when it kind of first LL Cool J, like those were the people that we listened to when we were younger. We'd walk around the streets playing on our boom boxes and stuff. And now you're asking me, what the hell is he rambling for? What is a boom box? It was one of those things you carried around and had speakers on, 2 speakers on it, cassette deck in the middle, and you just held it up on your shoulder. But anyway, I digress. Sleep Token. Amazing. Absolutely amazing. So, all right, that's my musical journey for the week. I know I've rambled on about that before and last week and stuff too. So I hope you give me that little bit of leeway in the beginning of the show to start it off. I kind of, again, it's always fun for me to talk about music, because it's such a big part of my life, and in a lot of different ways. So, all right, so let's get into it, shall we? We're going to talk about the OTA. The OTA. Let's discuss. Obviously, we just had the small one with Sam Wilson and all that stuff, and now we got this. So this happened, of course, on the 15th. So let's just read the notes like we always do. The devs say, "Welcome back, welcome back." You would have to be pretty old to know where that line is from. That is from an old sitcom that I used to love. We hope everyone had a safe and happy holiday season. Today we'll be shaving off an extra power from a consistent overperformer, then mostly handing out a lot of buffs. Let's get to it. So we have Merlin. Merlin's getting a nerf. Merlin's getting a nerf finally after all this time. It's a strong card. It has been for a while. Now with all of these, I still call them spells. But with all of those kind of cards and the Werewolf by Night business bouncing all over the board, you kind of knew that this probably might happen. But he basically is just going from 2-3 to 2-2. Our lone nerf today. Merlin has been a consistent rate card since its release, often pairing with Werewolf by Night for large point outputs and a compact package. Skill cards, of course. That alongside Merlin's flexibility, including being a low opportunity cost form of location control. Very true, you could change locations. Has built a robust and versatile 2-cost card that has overperformed just a touch too much for too long. We'll be shaving a power from Merlin to make him slightly more high opportunity cost to utilize compared to other 2-cost cards. So basically he's just going to a 2-2. No other change. I think what they hope for here when they do this, you wouldn't think a point of power is that big of a deal, right? Especially for what he does. But, and I don't know if a point of power, I mean, look at it from this standpoint, though. Many times in Snap, how many times could you go back to a game of Snap where you lose by a point? Probably a lot more than you might think. So a point can do a lot. And, in this case, we'll see. We'll see if it does. If it doesn't affect it as much, I could see them going even down maybe to a 2-1, which at that point, it's a detrimental amount where it could really hurt you. They kind of did that to Surge. Now Surge is still good, but not maybe as good. So we'll see if this is the only time they're going to touch up Merlin, but it's going to depend on whether or not he's going to get played. They of course look at the amount of, they look at the games that he's played. All those statistics will tell. So anyway, Merlin gets a nerf, and again, I'm not really surprised by it. All the rest of these are buffs. Phantom X goes from a 4-6 to a 4-7, so he's getting a point of power. Says Phantom X was pretty large swing in deck building cost department, uniquely requiring a hybrid discard destroy strategy that is not a major incentive that we've provided before. We've noted multiple times in the past that we're still properly gauging the cost to reward ratio on these outside the box deck building quests. Given the Phantom X can hypothetically be a 418, we felt that it was a sufficient reward for the ask, but our data still says Phantom X is falling short. Given that tuning his deck building cost would in most cases destroy his hybrid identity, we're going to increase his power to try to nudge folks over the finish line and playing that substantial cost, but we're continuing to learn about this class of cards and how realistic their expectations are on players. Yeah, I mean, he didn't see a lot of play. I didn't play with the card very much. I think they've got a little bit to go with this before they get players really interested in playing a hybrid destroy discard. You would think with the way it kind of started out, the original discard decks that I used to see very early on, a lot of them had Wolverine in it. And then when X-23 came along, a lot of them had X-23 in it because they could discard it. And then, it would still play out. So I guess that's where they kind of got this from, but it's not a super big, like, I still run into discard decks, but I'm not seeing them combine much. I'm seeing more just that straight Khonshu discard stuff with Apocalypse and MODOK. Some of them I'm finding Weapon H, of course, in there too, but I don't know. I don't know if this is going to really do anything for that or if it's going to stimulate it, but I guess we'll see. Now the move package gets a bunch of buffs. Vulture's going to a 1-3. Multiple Man's going to a 2-4. And Fan Fei goes to a 4-5. And it says, we're continuing to tweak the move package given the large vacuum that was created by nerfing Human Torch out of his strength outlier status. While Vulture is a traditional payoff that we just think needs some love, our buff to Multiple Man is representative that we would like move to take more forms than just manipulating the largest power character and otherwise copying it or leveraging its power in other ways to win multiple locations. That's not to say that we're extremely confident that 2-4 Multiple Man is sufficient to open up an entire new move archetype, but we want to keep taking shots slowly to give more players more tools to express themselves in a variety of ways. Fan Fei was a card we changed recently, and it still hasn't quite hit the mark. So to continue in that spirit of opening up new cards that people could play and experiment with, we're giving her an additional power. I saw Regis Kilbin trying all these cards, and it looks like that Multiple Man causes problems because he fills up board space. The only time I saw that card played with any sort of success was with Phoenix Force, because you could bring it back and it's huge. So I still don't think it's going to be that great of a card. And like I said, when I was watching him play, now he had all three of these cards. He had Multiple Man, Vulture, and Fan Fei in the deck. But more often than not, you're just seeing a whole bunch of forward Multiple Men all over the place, and it doesn't really do you much good. You could have three of them in a lane. It's 12 power. And with the ramp decks that people are playing with all that big power and stuff, they're going to just wipe you out. They're going to have one or two cards in that lane. They're just going to beat you. So I don't know if Multiple Man is the answer. How to get a drink. Drink of choice. Diet Ginger Ale. Diet Ginger Ale today. So yeah, I don't really, you guys can let me know, but because I don't really play Move. You all know that. But I kind of think that that's more of a detriment, at least what I saw from Regis's video. Clea goes from a 1-2 to 1-3. That's really it. Just gets a point of power. She's seeing a little more play now with the skills and stuff like that. I've seen her in some Shu Lao decks. Iron Lads going from 4-6 to 4-7. Remember when Iron Lad was so popular? This card was like huge. And the only time I see it now is in Tribunal. That's it. Which, by the way, have you guys been seeing Tribunal? Because I have. I've been seeing a lot of Tribunal lately, which is crazy. I kind of thought that deck was just no more. I don't know where, like, all of a sudden it gets brought out. Maybe because people aren't playing Enchantress. Because if you're playing Enchantress, they're literally dead. If you get Enchantress and they have that, they want to do that one lane where they put Iron Man and Onslaught and Tribunal on that one lane. And if you get an Enchantress and save that Enchantress for the last turn in the game, they're more than likely going to be outpowering you by then. And you save that Enchantress, you devastate them. You automatically snap, and you just devastate that deck. So I'm surprised that there's still so much of it being played out there. But says Clea is another tricky card to build around card that requires building a specific deck as well as concise sequencing. Given that we are slowly increasing the floor of many cards that have fallen by the wayside, we're comfortable giving her an extra power, particularly to help out the release of Shang-Chi, Master of the Rings. Well, there you go. They're getting ready for Shang-Chi. I was surprised at how many of you guys told me that Shang-Chi was your most anticipated card. I first looked at that card and I thought, it didn't really thrill me. But I don't know. Like I said last week, maybe you guys are onto something and I'm just not. Iron Lad is just a card we think is super fun, providing excitement, and what we believe to have to be some healthy variance in the game. Over time, given the increase in competition at the 4-cost slot, we think that Iron Lad can comfortably get an extra power to remain more competitive with other options available. Then we got Dragon of the Moon. That gets buffed rather quickly, and I would have to agree with it because it was pretty bad. It goes from a 3-2 to a 3-4. It's a new release that we also weren't quite sure how it would land given its unique characteristics. We missed a mark, given that you have to put a fair amount of work to break the symmetry on the dragon's ability and a lack of reliability of how much impact its ability will make on your opponent's hand. As a result, we'll be giving it 2 of additional base power. This is the one where people were trying with Master Mold because you have to put even cost cards into your opponent's hand. So I tried it in a few different decks. Wasn't great. 2 more points of power is kind of big, but I still haven't been really seeing anybody playing it. So I don't know. This might just be a miss of a card, but who knows? Maybe somebody will figure it out. And then last but not least, this card has been in a lot of these OTAs lately. And it is Zombie Galacti, whatever you want to call it. It's changed, so it's game start. This is the way it was. Choose 6 other cards in your deck. On reveal, transform those cards into copies of this. The wording changed. So it's going, the new is game start. choose 6 other characters in your deck. So not cards. Because it was, so it was because it was wasting transformation targets if you have skills. Okay. So this was just changed because of skills. Because if you grab skills, obviously with it's a waste of a card. So they just changed that for betterments of the card. A lot of people like that deck. I've played it just because it's a Galactus type thing. I've played it and I just can never get the combo. It's just I don't have luck with it. And I played against it thinking that it really wasn't a big deal, but it can get to be pretty big. It can get to be pretty big, and I know some people were experimenting with Shu Lao in the deck as well. But it's just if you get the Wombo combo, if you get the Wong, the Shuri, the Zombie Galacti, it could be a lot of power. So that is the balance updates for the week. For the most part, I think they're pretty good. Whenever you get mostly all buffs and not really any nerfs, the only thing is if people were kind of hoping that it was going to change the meta, I really kind of doubt it did. Because again, I did see a lot of creators trying the new move deck, trying these cards out and stuff like that since they switched them up. But I really haven't seen any movement to indicate to me that people are moving away from Sholao, or moving away from now. A lot of people are going with the ramp deck because of Dragon Lord, which I've been playing. And I'll tell you, I picked Dragon Lord. I think when I did my reviews, I had him up pretty high. And I'm kind of glad I did because I'll tell you what. Now, Shu is better. Shu is better. But Dragon Lord is damn good. He is damn good. You pair him up, and I saw this on Dexter's videos. You pair him up with Taskmaster, dude. Like you're pulling out 2 cards that are very big. And you could do that at the end. What am I saying? Taskmaster, Grandmaster. You pair him up with that. This is just sick. You're just bringing out big cards at the end of the game. And it's, I'll tell you, it's a good card. I hope you guys got it, from High Voltage Overdrive. Because it's definitely worth it. It's a fun card, and it works really well in that ramp deck. So I was winning. I got to 83, by the way. So I'm in the 80s, and I got there because of that. That I really haven't had time to play much ladder, because I've been messing around with High Voltage Overdrive and all that stuff, and I really didn't play much ladder. But when I did, I was like, what was I at last week? I think it was at like 78 or something like that, and around there. Well, that got me to where I am now, playing that Dragon Lord deck, which is good. And I'll go over it in a little bit. So, let me see. We'll go into the request line, and we'll see what. I did ask for some comments here, so we'll see what you guys had to say. I asked yesterday if you want the season pass to comment, what's your favorite OTA change was? So I did get some comments. Thanos commented, well, hello, Thanos, the Mad Titan on Twitter. Dragon of the Moon for me, but I also like Multiple Man. And I asked, what was your favorite OTA change? So Thanos was Dragon of the Moon, but I like Multiple Man. Maybe OG Phoenix deck is back with that change. Yeah, see, that I could see happening because that Phoenix Force deck was pretty strong. And now that he got buffed, maybe you will see that make a comeback. That is possible because that'll even get even bigger now. So maybe that will happen. Has Guts on X says Multiple Man, more power. So 2 people for Multiple Man. Ahmed Magdi says, I like Dragon of the Moon, but honestly, the rest of the OTA are meh. A Fantastic Four reverse member. I can tell you that I do not like the Merlin change. And then AU Young, all Young. Ireland needed the buff, no doubt, but I am sad I can't use him in C6 anymore. Yeah, it's very true. You certainly can't use him in C6. That is true. Okay. Let me see if I sometimes don't. Okay, I'm going to look on Blue Sky as well to make sure I didn't get thoughts about High Voltage Overdrive. I did get one from Faust over on Blue Sky. HV Overdrive has been fine. The shop is pretty underwhelming. Agreed. And the mode is grindy. Agreed. To earn any currency. But I'm fine with knocking out missions, getting the free card, and dipping. I also asked, what is your most anticipated movie? Because I'm going to be doing that. So I asked, what's your most anticipated movie of 2026 and game as well? And Faust says Dune Messiah, 2026 movie. And the game is Grand Theft Auto 6 and Resident Evil 9. Yeah, GTA is going to be a lot of people's favorite. That is still going strong. And Resident Evil looks awesome from what I've seen in the screens so far. So two very, very good choices. And I'm sure they will be very, very popular games. So very cool. I appreciate the comments. Thank you so much. Let me see. Glenn Jones, by the way, one of the creators of Marvel Snap, and used to do stuff for Magic the Gathering. A lot of stuff for that. Posted a game called Letter Perk. I like these like letter games. I do a lot of the New York Times stuff. And this is just an online one that you do. You just try to get as many points as you can. So I ended up playing that. Okay. I think that is it for the spin, and I kind of knocked out the request line at the same time too. So there you go. Thank you so much for that. All right. So let's get to the Snapchat, shall we? And I already went over a little bit of this. High Voltage, I have knocked out. I am finished with High Voltage, probably. I can maybe mess around and try to I got two of the portal pulls. So I got Giganto and I got Wave. I can still try to go for the Surfer, but I'm right around 5,000 volts. And I don't have a ton of time left here. There's 4 days left. I probably could do it. If that's what I want to get. The emotes are way, way beyond reach. And I'm not super crazy about them. One is Lin Lie, however you pronounce it. And the other one is Sweaty Namor. So, not really crazy about either one of those. So I doubt I'm going to go for those. It's just a lot of points. So I'll probably just try to get the Surfer card, and then I'll get all the portal pulls. The deck that I've played for the most part for it, in case you want to know, has been this one. It has Sunspot, Havoc, Strange Supreme, Armor, Cosmo, Fastos, Shang-Chi, Nick Fury, Legion, Blob, Eson, and Hulkling. That is the deck. I think KM Best posted this. I'm pretty sure. But that's the one I've been playing mostly with. I was playing with one that Binks had that had Cobra in it, which is very smart to do because you're blowing up you're definitely going to be blowing up one of their cards. And, how much do we get to actually play with Cobra? But anyway, that was my deck. So, I may try to get that last card there, and that's probably, I'll call it a day with Overdrive. Not one of my favorite game modes. Not one of my favorite game modes. High voltage isn't. I mean, obviously, a lot of people were looking to see how this was going to get, what kind of response this would get, because the last time we got this was the whole Kid Omega thing, and we all know what happened there. A lot of people's pain point of the year. So I don't know, but these high voltage, high voltage along with the diner are my least favorite. Now the last diner was so they made that to be so easy to get the rewards that everyone loved it. But I don't think that's going to come back that way if it does. But this mode, I could lose high voltage and I wouldn't be upset about it. It's really not my favorite one. I like Sanctum better. There other modes of the game that I just like better. That new one too, the new one that they just did with the Avengers teams and all that. I hope that comes back. I enjoyed that. The other one that you play with the Avatar, and you have the Avatar, and I always forget what that's called. The arena, Grand Arena. I like that one better. So high voltage, if this went away, I wouldn't be that upset about it. Okay, let's look at some other decks that I've played over the course. Right. So I've been playing the ramp deck with Dragon Lord. And this is the one with Grandmaster that I mentioned. So this has Chamber, Grandmaster, Electro, Luna Snow, Dragon Lord, Blink, Enchantress, War Machine, Red Hulk, Galactus First Steps, Giganto, and Infinite. And this has been doing pretty well. The only thing that you got to watch, and I get so nervous. I've told you guys, I like playing I like playing Wiccan decks because I like to have cards getting out there every turn. I think that's a fatal flaw of mine in this game. I get very panicky when someone is playing against me and they have like a card out on turn 1, a couple cards out on turn 2, and then a couple, and I'm sitting there and I have nothing. I don't have a card on the board because in this particular deck, you have no 1 cost. So you have a couple 2 costs, but you have 1 2-cost card that you're not going to use until very late in the game. So if you get Grandmaster early on, it's a card that you're not going to really be using. So really, the only early card you have here is Chamber. If you don't see it, you're going to be sitting there for a while. And then you have Electro. And then you have Luna. So there's not a whole lot to play early. Most of your hand is 6 costs. There's 4 of them. 5 costs, there's 4 of them. So you're going to be sitting a lot of times very early on, and I get nervous when I play that way. But it's won a lot. It's just that, you're going to capitalize. You're going to do big stuff at the end of the game. But it's nerve-wracking to me. It's very nerve-wracking to me to sit there. So that's one of them. Nerf Herder, who I had on my show not too long ago, he is another one of these. Now his is Ebony Maw. So there's some other stuff you could play early. Lockjaw, which you could swap out a card. Electro Wave, Jubilee, Dragon Lord, Vision, War Machine, Zola, which I have seen Zola in a lot of these. Red Hulk, Galactus, First Steps, and Infinite. So, the Zola can obviously help you win more than 1 lane. So, I haven't tried that one yet, but I mean to. And then Binks has one too. Binks is a little different. His is Chamber, Valentina. So, again, another card you could play out early. Electro, Luna, Jubilee. He has Iron Man in his. Dragon Lord, Blink, War Machine, Red Hulk, Galactus, First Steps, and Infinite. So a lot of it at the end is very much the same. But he, of course, chose to include Iron Man, which, if you get the Dragon Lord out and he pulls Iron Man, you're thrilled because you probably already have some big power in there, and you just go way bigger with Iron Man. So that's the one that Binks was playing. There are a couple of new decks that are making the rounds. This one is a super giant deck, and I think whenever you have a card like Show that is controlling the meta, and it was almost kind of like when Man Spider was at the height of its popularity, people will start to play Supergiant because it takes away, of course, and Destroy. When Destroy got real big, it takes away those last couple of turns. And they kind of need those turns to do all these fancy messed up combos that they're doing. And if you don't allow it, it's going to mess up their whole deck. So this is a Supergiant deck. This is Iceman, Spider-Ham, Gorgon, Cable, Lizard, Maximus, Shadow King, Copycat, Super Adaptoid, which of course steals an activate from an enemy card. Negasonic. You want to play Negasonic with Supergiant. It's just a good combo. And then it has Ronin. Ronin in there too. When you can't play out a lot of cards, Ronin's not a bad idea. And of course you could do that Ronin Maximus hit at the end of the game as well. And of course, Gorgon, your opponent's created cards cost one more. So, there is a Galacti deck out there that is different. This one has Galactus in it. So this is Majestic Wingbeat, Zabu, Adam Warlock, Magic, Maverick, Luna Snow, Wong Shuri. So you got the Wong Shuri thing for Zombie Galacti. Gwenpool, Sarah, Galactus, and Zombie Galacti. So Galactus is just in there because it's an alternate way to win. If you don't get the combo and you get Maverick out there, you can always just Maverick your Galactus. And if you Gwenpool the Maverick, just an alternate way of winning the game. See what else I've got here. Oh, this one was fun. This one was Dexter. But I don't think it's Dexter's build. I want to say it's Butt that built this. This is like an all-skills deck. Now, this may go down in popularity a little bit because of the nerf to Merlin. But this is kind of crazy. This is just a whole bunch of skills. So, of course, you have Nicholas Scratch because he's going to benefit from it. But it has Deafening Chord, Nico, Merlin, of course, giving you skills as well. Captain America giving you the shield. The Werewolf by Night has Mercury, has Prowler for some skills. Miles Morales has Professor X. Professor X to lock down a lane. Shulao, and then Dormammu. And it's crazy because Dormammu hardly does anything. Like you're maybe gonna be able to get him out on turn 6. But he's not really going to do much. You just have him in there to basically bounce the wolf with the skills that you're using from him on the summoning ritual. You're not really going to complete it because you're not really destroying much. You can destroy stuff maybe with Nico, but you're not going to be able to really do the whole ritual. And he's not meant to be in there for that. So this one I thought was cool, and you get that werewolf like huge, absolutely huge. The Xiao Lao deck, of course, I'm sure you all know this one. Deafening Chord, Nico, Spider-Ham, Agony, Merlin, Cable, Cosmo, Jocasta, Maverick, Copycat, Scarlet Spider, and Shu Lao. This is just the one that makes the very big Scarlet Spiders. And yeah, it's just been all over the meta. There was now obviously I have an old Hella deck, and this is I think it's mostly based on Denise's list, but I would get this ready in your back pocket for this coming Tuesday because it's Fin Fang Foom week. And I'll tell you, if that card does not bring back a swath of Hella, I would be amazed. Because it's going to go right back into Hella deck. And what that's going to do is that is going to bring back a whole bunch of Stardust. because Stardust just wipes out Helidex. Just wipes them out. But I would bet you that Fin Fang Foom is going to be in a lot of Helidex when he comes out. So, all right. So good Lord, good English. That is the decks that I've been playing. Obviously, I've still been playing some Conquest. I got 6 out of the 9 things that I need to get the Nightcrawler card, so I'm sure I'll just get it. Unlocks this coming week is going to be a purple neon border and infinity ticket in the Nightcrawler avatar. So I'm sure I'll get it. I haven't missed a week yet, so I probably won't. Now, there was a lot of news concerning alliances. A lot of news. Can't say it was good. Listen, my alliance is awesome. We lost a couple of members. I think we're down to, let me see. We have 28, so we're down 2 members. So, I know that people have really soured on this since the comments about them. But if any of you are looking for a pretty steady alliance and one that gets the rewards all the time, and the rewards aren't great right now, but if you're looking for one, I do have 2 openings. But the creators, the devs have come out and said that, for lack of a better term, that alliances is not, how can I say it? They did some changes, and people were upset because they weren't really informed about it ahead of time. And the answers from the devs have come off as been like, well, it's something we knew that was kind of a pain point, basically, but really didn't kind of, didn't really have a way at that time to look into it or fix it to the point of where they would have wanted it to be. And there were people that were upset about that. And I haven't asked my group yet. I should, but I can understand that. I can understand it. There are people that do still consistently do their missions and stuff like that for alliances, and some people just don't care. Some people really never got into it. There was supposed to be a lot of changes made to it. It was supposed to have alliance wars and all that kind of stuff, and they never did that. So, and I saw Cam's video where he said he was not a person who was ever into it because he didn't like to be told what cards he had to play with. And again, I could see that standpoint of it. He didn't like to do missions that would tell him that you have to play such and such a card and things like that. And so he was kind of saying he just gave it up and just didn't do it anymore. I can see both sides of the argument. But again, like I said, my alliance, everyone in there, with the exception of 2 people who I think left the game totally, they enjoy it. And now we're kind of getting like not great rewards anymore because they'd come out and said that they think that the rewards would be better suited for something else. I personally, I'm not sure really where I stand here. Because I have such a great group in my alliance, I would like to see them rewarded for that. A little more than just a mystery border, which, it could really be anything, and some tokens, but I can see their standpoint of it where, and to be honest, somewhere down the road, especially if, and it was said by, I think Griffin, who said that they are really trying to get a draft mode. What did I tell you guys? Did I not tell you? Because of what the cards that have been coming out, all these skills that have been coming out, I said the amount of cards that went drastically up. And the amount of these skills they are putting into the game that can really fit in almost anything, I said that it is logical to believe that a draft mode is coming. And that is what Griffin came out and said, that he wants, that they are hoping to get a draft mode out this year, which I kind of figured would be coming. So, and if that happens, I would bet that some of the emphasis is going to, there'll be a lot of emphasis on draft mode. And that is going to be where a lot of the rewards will go. I wouldn't even be upset if they got rid of Conquest totally. And just gave out much better rewards for draft. And that's also going to solve another problem. And that is the amount of, the ladder issue. Where ladder is just so difficult now to get up because of the bot thing, and just because of that may go away too, because a lot more people will be playing draft mode. So it's going to be interesting to see. And again, I wouldn't be shocked if if the alliances might be going by the wayside a little bit too. I wouldn't be shocked. So, okay. So let's look at, I don't think I got a lot of variants. Other than those ones I told you about that I got from Overdrive. I got the Sauron Fantasy variant. The Giganto, of course. This Giganto is badass. Alberto Dalago variant. Always like to see cards with the artist names. I just do. I got the Dragon Lord Rian Gonzalez, which is very cute. He's holding a dragon, and there's another dragon behind him. The Wave variant as well. This is from Envar Studios. I got a Jocasta variant. This is the anime cyberpunk variant. Very cool looking. And I think that's it. The rest of them are from last week, so not a real big week in variants for me. And let's take a look at some of the stuff going on in the shop. Take a look at the Collector's Vault returned. I did get some different cards, which is almost shocking. But I got the Jim Lee. Oh, look at that. Wow, that looks cool. It's a Jim Lee Sentinel. This might be the first Jim Lee we've gotten in a while. They might have just added this. I don't ever remember seeing this. You got two like Sentinels behind the main one. Wow, this is really cool. I love Jim Lee's art too. Very, very prominent DC artist who's done work for other companies as well. I got a Venomized Maximus, which I don't remember seeing either. Wow. Dude, these look awesome. They look like new cards. I don't think I've seen these. This is a Sarah. Justina variant. Wow, does this look amazing? Look at that. That is oh my God, that's an amazing Sarah. Wow. The artwork is fantastic. Venomized variant of Psylocke. I think I do remember this one. I think I remember seeing that one. Yo Shimizu variant of Mirage. Which I don't know if I remember seeing that one either. And then Justin Fields variant of the Infinite. That I do remember seeing. These all should have been out prior. But if that Jim Lee Sentinel was out, I do not remember it whatsoever. There is a bundle called the Huntress for gold. This is an Arowana Sick variant of Ravonna Renslayer. You're going to get 3,000 tokens, the Ravonna card for 3,500 gold. There's a larger-than-life bundle with Goliath. Lemon art. You get 4,200 credits, 3,500 gold in the Goliath for $50. And then in my shop, I've got a Vincenzo Riccardi variant of Brood, Pandart Studios Marrow, Pandart Studio Mockingbird, in Hyuk Lee variant of X-23, the 1 million BC variant of Ghost Rider, Pandart Studio variant of Fastball Special, Pandart Studio variant of Morbius, and 6 more vodka variants of Corvus Glaive. So that is what is in there. And I think, I think that's going to end, that's going to do it for Snap Talk for the week. So we are going to talk about Lin Lie, and we're going to talk about Dragon Lord over in the Comics Corner. I should get a theme song for Comics Corner. Okay, so let's look up Lin Lie. I wonder how many of you know that this is a version of Swordmaster. Lin Lie. Lin Lie. Current alias is Iron Fist. Aliases, codename Swordmaster. So there you go. Group affiliations was with the Abyssal Warriors, the Agents of Atlas, the Fushi Clan, the Atlas Foundation. Relatives, his ancestors are Fushi ancestor. Parents, unnamed father. And sibling is Lin Feng, his brother. He is single. Male, 5'9", 175 pounds. Brown eyes, black hair. Unusual features. Broken shards of the sword of Fuzi embedded into the skin of his hands and forearms. Red dragon-shaped scar surrounding his right arm. Human descended from the Zhan Fuzi, who gained the power of the Iron Fist. He is alive on Earth 616. Birthplace, Shanghai, China. His citizenship is Chinese. He is an adventurer. And his first appearance, Warriors of Three Sovereigns #1, May 2018. So he's relatively new as Swordmaster. Timeless #1, December 2021 as Iron Fist, cameo. And then Iron Fist Volume 6, #1, February 2022. First full appearance as Iron Fist. So he is a relatively new character. So Lin Lie was a young man who lived in Shanghai, China, and was born in the year of the tiger. One day his archaeologist father gave him a mysterious sword and left with his brother Feng for, I am never going to pronounce this, Quang Feng Gao, never to be seen again. 1 year later, he received a mysterious package which contained a puzzle box. After solving the puzzle, which revealed a red orb, Lee was attacked by the delivery man, who transformed into a demon but was saved when the sword moved on its own to attack the demon, and by the arrival of, oh my God, Ji Shangshong. When Lee demanded answers, he stabbed him with the sword, which gave him a vision of the Huaxia defeating Qi Yao in 3000 BC, and revealed that the sword was the sword of the Fuzi. Shangshong revealed that she and Li were descendants of Nuwa and Fuji, respectively, and that the sword and Qiao Yao's orb had been removed from their resting place, allowing the seals containing Chiao to weaken and unleashing his demon army. Believing Li to be too incompetent to fight him, Shang took the orb from him. Li tried to chase after her, but was attacked by Baron Mordo, who wanted the sword for himself. Li was rescued by Doctor Strange, who drove Mordo away. After Li explained what the sword was and the threat of Chiao, Strange offered to take the sword for safekeeping, but relented when Li told him of his family duty and that it was the only clue to finding his father. Strange reminded Li and Shang were able to defeat the remaining demons in the area, and Shang was contacted by her grandmother. In order to return to the Nuwa estate in Gansu with Li and the sword. Unable to take a flight due to the sword failing security checks at the airport, and Shang's magic not being strong enough to transport them. Li recruited his apartment roommate Sheng to drive them, as he had a driver's license. When he met Sheng in downtown Shanghai, the sword moved on its own and pointed out Feng from a crowd. By the time Shang and Sheng caught up with Li, Feng disappeared. Li and his friends helped Zi Zhanggun and the Nuwa clan defend the Nuwa mansion when it was attacked by Chiao's demons. Afterward, Zhanggun took Li and Shang to the tomb containing Chiao's body and used her magic to show memories of Chiao's sealing and release, as well as the last moments of Li's father before his disappearance. Li was told by Zhanggun that he needed to start his training under Shang. Agents of Atlas. Sometime after his training, Li took on the name Swordmaster and embarked on his quest to find his family and fight Chiao's demons. Li later joined the new Agents of Atlas during the War of the Realms. He stayed with the team while continuing to look for his family. While looking for his father, he encountered his Atlas teammate, Shang-Chi, in Flushing, who took Li under his wing. Swordmaster and Shang-Chi were confronted by Ares, who demanded Lin Lie's sword to confront the kidnapper of his son, Ismenios, who Ares believed was another god. Coming to a truce, the three were able to track Ismenios to the temple of Madripoor, where they confronted his kidnapper, the mother goddess of Madripoor, Davi Naka. Naka explained that she imprisoned Ismenios for his protection after the young Draken was caught stealing from Atlantis' treasure hoard during the absence of its sea serpent guardian. Despite Naka's attempt to placate the kingdom, King Namor was still outraged over the missing dragon. Afterwards, Swordmaster, Shang-Chi, and Ares ate at a Madripoor low-town dim sum shop before the trio was visited by Jimmy Woo, who sought them out to find fellow teammate Amadeus Cho to solve a mysterious hexadecimal puzzle. During Swordmaster and Shang-Chi's training, they were reunited with the new Agents of Atlas. When Flushing and other Asian communities in every major city were merged into the portal city of Pan by the tech mogul Mike Nguyen. Despite their suspicions of Nguyen and his hired mercenary Isaac Ikeda, the protector of Pan, the new Agents of Atlas agreed to protect the city after it was besieged by wyverns and sea serpents. It was later revealed that Atlantis Dragon had been captured by the Big Wind Company, who had been harvesting her scales to power Pan's portals. Upon this discovery, an enraged Namor launched an invasion of Pan to reclaim his stolen dragon. Swordmaster and the other new Agents of Atlas were summoned to Brawn during his confrontation with Namor, who wanted the group to return Atlantis' dragon in a day or else face the wrath of Atlantis before retreating. Swordmaster and the other new agents were subsequently introduced to original Agents of Atlas by Wu, when Wu sent Namora, Venus, Arrow, and Wave to Atlantis for a diplomatic mission. We're on a diplomatic mission! Brawn discreetly ordered Shang-Chi and Swordmaster to spy on Namora due to her familial ties with Namor. The dragon was eventually released from captivity, but upon arriving home, she unexpectedly went berserk and attacked the underwater kingdom. Witnessing the destruction caused by the dragon, Shang-Chi and Swordmaster relayed to Amadeus that the Atlantis scientists discovered an implant embedded in the dragon's scales to be the source of her behavior, and that Namor believed Amadeus to be behind the sabotage, prompting the king to resume his attack on Pan. When Amadeus was forcibly transformed into the Hulk and put under Wind's control with Serena Tech in a last-ditch effort to destroy Atlantis, Swordmaster helped Shang-Chi remove the device from Amadeus, freeing him from Wind's control and reverting him back into Brawn. It goes on to talk about King in Black, the death of Doctor Strange, the new Iron Fist. Unconscious and gravely wounded Lin Lie was washed ashore outside Kunlun. Just as Xiao Lao hatched from his egg, the dragon bestowed his chi upon Lie, saving his life and granting him the power and the title of Iron Fist. Lie was saved by Mei Min, who took him home to her family. With several of the sword shards embedded in his hands, aspired to recover the remaining shards and reforge the sword to prevent Xiao from escaping his seal. Several months later, on a Tuesday, Lie tracked down a large piece of the sword in a Chinese antique shop in Flushing, where he met his predecessor, Danny Rand, who helped him to recover the piece from several of Xiao's minions. Danny attempted to ask Lie about his background, but Lie brushed him off and fled through a portal to Kunlun in the subway. Goes on to Judgment Day, where he received the mark of the Iron Fist. Goes on to a part with Daredevil. There's also a part of the End 2099. So good amount of stuff here. Powers, he has divine heritage. The last descendant of Xian Fuzi can wield the sword of Fuzi and use its magical powers. After the sword was shattered, several of his shards became embedded within his hands. His mystic energy manipulation, energy infusion, blade generation, slash projection, chi enhanced physiology, chi manipulation, the Iron Fist punch, regeneration, expert swordsman, expert martial artist, skilled acrobat, multilingual, master enigmatologist. He's good at puzzles. Could attempt lockpicking his home door at 11 years old. His weakness is chronic pain. Due to the shards being embedded in his arms, Lin suffers from constant pain and agony. With some guidance from Daredevil, he learned how to mitigate the pain. Paraphernalia, of course, he has the sword. As the Iron Fist, he is untraditional. Became the first Iron Fist without defeating Shu Lao, and thus did not possess the mark of the Iron Fist at first. Eventually, instead of defeating Sho, he was given Iron Fist mark by a celestial called the Progenitor. So there you go. That is Lin Lie. And now, we are going to go to Dragon Lord. This one is pretty interesting, actually. Pardon me while I look this up. Okay. Dragon Lord. First appeared in the first Dragon Lord. So there's been several. The first one appeared in Submariner, issues 52 to 54 in August to October of 1972. Was created by Bill Everett, was the artist, and Mike Friedrich was the writer. The Dragon Lord UT first appeared in Marvel Premiere number 15 in May 1974 and was created by Roy Thomas and Gil Kane. Wow, Gil Kane. That's a big name in art. Latvian-born American comic artist who had done stuff from the 1940s to the 1990s. A lot of stuff for DC. And he did some stuff in Spider-Man. But yeah, we can spend a while talking about Gil. The Dragon Lord first appeared in Marvel Premiere 15, number 1974. Character subsequently appears in Deadly Hands of Kung Fu in March 1975. Marvel Premiere, there were Kung Fu comics. Marvel Premiere number 22 in June 1975. Master of Kung Fu Annual number 1. Deadly Hands of Kung Fu number 21. And then it went on to Iron Fist 6 and 7. Marvel Team Up. Power Man and Iron Fist. Immortal Iron Fist. Taco Shamara first appear, Taco. Not Taco. T-A-K-O. Taco. In Marvel Spotlight in March 1980. Was created by Marv Wolfman and Steve Ditko. In his first appearance, the character battled a huge dragon from the past called a Wani, a monster that destroyed his ancestors' villages in 1582. The creature that Taiko battled was intended to be Godzilla, but since Marvel no longer had the rights to the character, which had lapsed the previous year, the creature was modified to a dragon called the Wani. Wow, that's cool. Rhydorn, the Dragon Lord, appeared in Fantastic Four, annual number 16 in 1981. And was created by Ed Hannigan and Steve Ditko. The Dragon Lord was a fanatic bent on avenging Japan's defeat in World War II. Although blind, he appears to be able to see mentally. He used Sunfire as an ally, but Namor later convinced Sunfire of Dragon Lord's intentions to conquer the world for his own benefit. The two heroes stopped Dragon Lord's plans and destroyed his base. Again, first appearance, Submariner, number 52 in 1972. Nuon. Nuon is the UT, a name given to the rulers of Kunlun, who also uses the alias of Dragon Lord, as did his father, Lord Tuon. And they have a cover here, Marvel Spotlight number 2 and number 5 from March 1980. Marv Wolfman and Steve Ditko did that. Taiko's first appearance as the character battled a huge dragon from the past called a Wani, a monster that destroyed his ancestors' village in 1582. Dragon Lord later appears in Camp Hammond as an official recruit for the initiative, only to be killed when KIA attacks the group of new trainees. The surviving trainees, along with Triathlon and Taskmaster, present his ashes and a flag to Shamara's family at their Long Island home. Shamara's son states that he intends to honor his father by taking up his mantle. Ray Dorn. Ray Dorn was a human of earthly parentage who leads the dragon riders of the extra-dimensional world of Ramet Polan. The dragon riders use dragons as mounts in their journeys through time and space. Ray Dom has used the Dragon Man as his own mount. Ed Hannigan spoke of the character's creation, stating, Shooter wanted to keep the name Dragon Lord, but he wanted a new character that wasn't a kung fu character. He asked me to create one. Nuon is shown to have some degree of minimal combat skills. He does not appear to age due to him eating a fruit from the tree of immortality. The Taiko Shamara version of the Dragon Lord could summon dragons and control them through elixirs created in his cauldron. He was mocked by Taskmaster for this flaw, who felt such an ability would not be useful in combat due to time-consuming nature. So that is it. I want to see... which one they're using in Snap. So I'm going to go through this. I'm going to look a little bit here and see if I could look at some of the covers. I think that the card we got is the cover. I think it's the Fantastic Four version. I think he's the one from the Fantastic Four because he's wearing the green and he's got blonde hair And he's got like green feet that kind of look like, yeah, I think he also has like a red kind of a mask and blonde hair. Yeah, I think that's the version that we got. I think it's the Fantastic Four version. Let me look up the card. Yeah. So the Dragon Lord we got is the base art is the Fantastic Four version. So that's kind of cool. I wanted to look him up because there's so many different versions, but that is probably the most popular of them. Is the Fantastic Four version without going back like super far in his lore. So that's kind of cool. All right, so let's go to the Marvel Comics app and we will look and see if we have stuff for Dragon Lord. And if we have stuff for for Lin Lie. So we'll look up Dragon Lord. Yeah, he's here. There's only 2 books with this one. Now, this is the one that we have the card for. And you can see him a little better in this. He's got like an X across his face, like that X mask, which makes an X with the red lines. And then he also has scales. So he's wearing like scales on his back. But it looks like he has it looks like a button down kind of a shirt. And almost looks like he's wearing like a turtleneck underneath it. But that is definitely him. And it's only really showing 2 things. And it has the Immortal Iron Fist, which is from 2006 to 2009, and he's in issue number 4. And then, of course, it's Marvel Spotlight from 1971 to 77, and he's in issue number 5 of that. So only a couple comics are being shown of him. So that's interesting. And then we'll look up Lin Lie. And it comes up as Swordmaster, which is kind of what I figured too. There are details of him. Lin Lie is a young man who lived with his father in Shanghai, China. He was left with a magical sword after his father and brother disappeared. Lin set out to search for them, eventually joining the new Agents of Atlas during the War of the Realms. So if you want to look up comics about him, there is AXE Iron Fist. That's relatively new, 2022. Issue number 1. Iron Fist 50th Anniversary Special from 2024 to present. And then, of course, there's Swordmaster Comics from 2019 to 2020. 12 issues. Was in Civil War. Secret Invasion. Ooh, that's interesting. Who was... I thought I caught a glimpse of it said who his creator was. But I didn't see... No, okay. Yeah, it was funny because it popped up with a picture of Rob Liefeld, which I didn't think he created. Okay. Yeah, it was weird. All right. Well, we're going to go to the app. $9.99 a month. Best thing that I pay for every month. Because I do a ton of comic book reading on here. I don't get out to get comics as much as I used to. I wish I still had a comic book store around me. I do not. But if you do, go and visit the comic shop. It's awesome experience. If you've never been to one, I can't recommend it enough. Going to a comic book store is amazing. Especially if they're kind of still the classic ones. It's so much fun. All right, this is what we have new in the shop this week. Strange Tales Infinity Comic number 5. Looks like Scarlet Witch. Marvel Rivals Infinity Comic Galacta is on the cover. Miles Morales, Spider-Man Brooklyn's Finest, issue number 2. The Imperial War has Super Skrull in the cover. That's issue number 1. That is Imperial War, Imperial Guardians. We have another issue number 1 for Binary. Issue number 1. Marvel Black, White, and Blood and Guts. Black, White, and Blood and Guts, issue number 1. What is this? Face Front Horror fans. Oh, see, because these are behind. So this is coming. This is the October stuff that's coming out. You know what that means. It's a season for ghouls, goblins, and other horrifying haunts, and unfortunately for your favorite heroes and villains, but frighteningly fortunate for your readers out there in mighty Marveldom, the Marvel U is far from immune to the effects of this time of year. The terrifyingly talented creative team of Al Ewing and Kev Walker brings you blood-curdling story starring Blade. We're not done with Blade yet, as industry powerhouse G. Willow Wilson and your new favorite artist, Devmalia Promanique, have their own daring version of our Daywalker. But wait, because you simply cannot afford to miss the final scintillating story in this issue, starring Iron Man from breakout star Chris Condon. What? You thought we were going to let the horror characters of the Marvel U have all the fun? Well, you were wrong. Oh, that's awesome. I'll have to read this. Spider-Man and Wolverine, issue number 6. Spider-Man 94, issue number 25. Looks like Kane is in that. Ultimate Black Panther, issue number 21. X-Men Infinity Comic, 2026, issue number 2. Han Solo, Hunt for the Falcon, number 2. Looks like it takes place around Force Awakens time because he's got the gray hair. Long Shots, issue number 1. Marvel Knights Punisher, issue number 1. Ooh, who's doing this? Jimmy Palmiotti is writing. Dan Panosian is penciling and inker. The world to come expands. One of the other pillars of Marvel Knights enters the fray with the Punisher. How did Frank get from the killer of killers to the man you met in the world to come? Marvel Knights co-founder Jimmy Palmiotti and artist extraordinaire Dan Panosian treat you to one of the most savage comics ever. We gotta have to check that one out. Amazing X-Men issue number 1. All these new number 1 issues coming out. Amazing Spider-Man Torn issue number 1. What is this? Straczynski's doing it. One of the most important Spider-Man writers returns to the webbed wonder. J. Michael Straczynski is back, but this time he's digging into a very different part of Spidey history. Jump back with us to Peter's college days at Empire State University with Gwen, Harry, MJ, and Flash Thompson. But not everything is rosy and happy as New Year's evil rears its head in a way that's sure to impact Peter's future. Wow, okay, I'm in. I'll read any Spider-Man book, and Straczynski's amazing. Laura Kinney Sabretooth, number 1. Avengers 2023, number 31, that is Kang. Strange Tales, number 1. Man, all these number 1s. Eddie Brock Carnage, number 9. Return to Planet Hulk, issue number 1. World of Revelation, issue number 1. And The World to Come, Marvel Knights, issue number 3. A lot of books for me to read this week, man. A lot of books for me to read, and you could be reading them too for the low, low price of $9.99 a month. So I hope I got you excited. Hope I intrigued you guys with some of the new stuff and the new books that are coming out. All right, we're going to move along to the MCU Minute. The MCU Minute. And the first thing we're going to do is we're going to read a cryptic tweet that came from the Russos. The Russo brothers tease Avengers Doomsday, and it says, what you've been watching for the last 4 weeks. So now this is those trailers that I've been playing for you guys, and I'm going to play the last one in just a bit here, are not teasers or trailers. They are stories. They are clues. Pay attention. Very interesting. Okay. All right. Well, here we go. This is going to be the Black Panther or the Wakandans and the Fantastic Four trailers. So here we go. I'm going to play this one for you guys now. I'm going to rewind it. Sorry. Here we go.
I've lost everyone that matters to me. The king has his duties to prepare our people for the afterlife. I have mine.
King M'Baku of Wakanda.
Ben, Yancey Street, between Broome and Grand.
And there's that Doomsday clock, which is now on their YouTube channel. So what we saw there, guys, was, and we heard Shuri. So Shuri talking at the beginning there, walking through, and you saw a lot of stuff, right? So you saw a very, if they're in Wakanda, near Wakanda, it almost looked like a complete desert. There was, and then they showed, of course, when she talked about the king. Now that is, of course, M'Baku, but they also showed Namor. And Namor looks very different, and he's sitting on a throne, and he is sitting in the middle of a desert. So I think the question that a lot of people are wondering is, where is the water? Why are we seeing desert when, obviously Namor, the king of Atlantis, so where is all the water here? Okay. The second thing that I think a lot of people noticed, and you heard Ben Grimm at the end, when M'Baku introduces himself, of course, as the king. And then Ben, kind of funny little moment there where he introduces himself and where he's from. But if you watch this, now, especially after that Russos tweet, okay, and that statement that they made, look to Ben Grimm's right. And you're going to say to me, but you're crazy. There's nothing there. Exactly. There is probably something there or someone there with Ben Grimm. The plot's already kind of starting to take shape. Now, I'm not going to give away any of this kind of stuff. I'll let you guys try to fact find that on your own. If you want to know, and again, I told you, I watch a gentleman on YouTube. His name is John Campia. Now, he is saying that he and his producer know the entire plot. He's not spoiling it, which is cool of him, because a lot of time when this stuff comes out, I mean, I used to search for a lot of these things, and I'll be honest, I found one where I had two gentlemen from Australia send me a copy of basically the entire Force Awakens story. I knew exactly what happened in Force Awakens about a month and a half or two before the movie even came out. Now, that's when I kind of promised myself I'll never do that again, because now I'll be honest, I'm a little bit of a different way with spoilers, because I grew up in an era where the books came out before the movie did. So I always read the novels. And they used to always come out prior to the films. Because many, many times the films were based off of the novel. And a lot of times, but what I would find out, even from reading those novels, I would have to make up the characters in my head. And I mean, I was very young. I have it. I may still have it. The original paperback novel of Star Wars. I remember reading that when I was probably about 7 or 8. And I would envision the way that these characters would look. And then the comic book came out. The comic book also came out before the movie, and it was very weird because Darth Vader was drawn in a completely different way. Now, they drew what they thought his helmet would look like, but he was colored green because they had no idea. They didn't know what these characters are going to look like. So I come from a kind of a different place with that. But when I spoiled that film for myself, I was like, yeah, okay, this is a bit much. And I don't really want to do that to myself anymore. But from what this John Campea says on his YouTube video is that he thinks that so much of this movie is going to leak out that almost everyone who wants to is going to probably know what this movie is entirely about by probably this summer. Because it's going to be, because he feels that there's going to be so many people that are going to find out. And again, remember, I told you guys that there were set leaks, that people have already, that dude was on the set taking pictures and all that kind of stuff. So I guess he feels that if he found out about it, that a lot more people are going to find out about it. But one of the things he did say is that it has not quelled his excitement for the film in one bit. He says that he is still super, super hyped and excited for the movie. And he said that did not change at all. That did not change at all with him finding out what the movie was about. So I'm not going to go that far because I kind of don't want to know. But if you're into all this clue stuff and you want to investigate, there are a lot of YouTubers trying to look for. One of them claimed they found some like code in some of these trailers, and they went back and checked and stuff like that. I think I talked about this on the pod last week, and they were thinking it was all from Endgame and different scenes in Endgame, but it kind of doesn't really make much sense. Because most of the scenes that they picked out and they thought this code was giving away were scenes that had Rocket Raccoon in it. And he's not even going to be in this movie. So it didn't really make a whole lot of sense in that way. So I don't think that's what it is. But I think that the scene, especially with Ben, I think what they did in these little snippets is I think they edited people out. I think they edited characters out. It also really seems a lot like that in the X-Men trailer. That stuff has been edited out. And especially in that one, because all you're seeing is Professor X and Magneto and then Cyclops outside. I think that there's other people in these scenes. And I don't know when these scenes are going to play in. I don't even know now after what the Russos said if these scenes are going to even be in the film. But I do believe that we are probably going to get now that's it for whatever these are. If you want to call them teasers, whatever it is, we're not getting any more. We got 4 and that's it. But I think that we're definitely going to get, I would be shocked if we didn't get a trailer during the Super Bowl. And now I'm hearing also that we're going to get a trailer for Spider-Man Brand New Day as well, coming out very soon. So, very cool stuff. I am hyped up. I am super excited. And I'm going to go over in a little bit what movies are. And they're playing right now. I don't want to do that. Okay, there we go. I stopped it. But I'm super fired up about this movie, and I think almost any Marvel fan will be. I think it's going to be awesome. I've kind of pieced some things together in my own mind about where I think it's going from some of the post credits we saw from Fantastic Four to the post credits in Thunderbolts. I'm kind of starting to piece some things together. And also some of the rumors that we got, some of those set piece leaks, things like that are kind of starting to kind of fit in together. The jigsaw puzzle's coming together a little bit. And it's just making me even more excited to see this. December is going to be a hell of a month for me because I told you guys, I think that the Friday the 13th, the Crystal Lake series is out in December. And then, of course, Doomsday is out in December, which I'm sure I'm going to see multiple times. But I am very, very fired up. So while we're here, let's get into I'm going to give you guys my top 5 movies that I'm excited for this year. My top 5 movies that I'm excited for this year. And please feel free to if you want to win one of those season passes, this is one of those things that you can give me as a comment. Let me know what your top 5 movies that you are most excited for this year that are coming out. There are just so many, I'm going to use up so many tickets this year in my Cinemark app that I may not have a bunch of tickets left over like I have in recent years. And I'll put them in my top 5, but I'm not really going to put them in any kind of order. Because I don't really think that I can order them. So they're not going to be 5 to 1. These are just my top 5. Horror-wise, very excited for... now, I'm going to see Silent Hill, weather permitting, I hope. Because we are getting just crap weather. It's going to be like 4 degrees next week and snow tonight. It's snowing out now. But I'm excited for Silent Hill 2. I really am. And I know it's kind of flying under the radar. But if it lives up to the billing of the second Silent Hill game, which I absolutely love, but that's kind of right outside my top 5. Scream 7. I've always loved the Scream franchise. That's coming out next month. I'm excited for that. So I'm going to put that as one of my top 5. I think that's going to be really, really fun. Project Hail Mary with Ryan Gosling looks like a fun one to me too. Now this might be right outside my top 5, but Phil Lord and Christopher Miller are directing this. So Lord and Miller, they do good stuff. And Ryan Gosling is in this, and I've seen trailers from this already. And this is an adaptation. It's sci-fi, of course. An astronaut who wakes up alone in a space station with no memory of who he is or why he's there. Fragments of his memory return. He discovers he's on a mission to the Tau Ceti solar system to stop a cosmic event that already has pushed Earth into the early stages of a new ice age. That sounds really cool to me. That sounds really cool. Let's see. I know my wife is super excited about The Devil Wears Prada too. I think that's she's going to be most excited about that. Devil Wears Prada, she loved the first one. I'm going to put this down in my top 5 because I'm such a big Star Wars fan and they've got to hit on something. They've got to hit on something. I now with this whole thing where Kathy Kennedy's out, that I think is going to be a good thing. They've already started changes with the Star Wars park. The theme park is now going to have our OG characters. So you're going to have Han Solo, Princess Leia, Darth Vader are all going to be in the park. Instead of just the Force, the new trilogy characters. There is still going to be a new trilogy section if you're into that. But there's already changes being made. Now this film was still under the Kathy Kennedy regime. But I have enjoyed Mandalorian. And I think this is going to be good also, I hope. But I'm going to put this in my top 5 also. Mandalorian and Grogu. Disclosure. This could be the one that I probably right below, you know what? For me, this could be right up there with Doomsday and Spider-Man. I am so excited for this. Steven Spielberg never disappoints me. And sci-fi film about UFOs. I mean, come on. Close Encounters, E.T., the guy does this stuff really well. War of the Worlds, his version was non-stop action. I am really excited for Disclosure Day. So that is in my top 5. Supergirl is very close or in the very bottom of my top 5 because I think that's going to be a lot of fun. I could see James Gunn all over that. Very Guardians of the Galaxy-esque. I'm super excited about that. I know a lot of people are very excited for Christopher Nolan's The Odyssey. I have never read The Odyssey. It's a huge book, and I've never read it. It's all about the story of the Trojan War. I know that many people, this is one of their big films of the year. Also, the Dune film that's coming out this year is one of people's... Now, look, I've seen Dune. I saw the original with Sting in it from the Police. I saw the remake, and I enjoyed it, but I have never been a humongous fan of Dune. And I think, and this is a weird thing for me, this is very quirky, I have a problem watching films that take place in a desert. I have no idea why. I could never watch like Tremors. I could never watch like old Westerns and stuff like that. I don't know what it is. I have problems with watching films that are in like desert scenarios. Very weird, I know. But I have never been a big fan of Dune. Spider-Man Brand New Day, no brainer. Probably number 3 of 5. Below Disclosure Day and Doomsday. But no brainer. They've always been good. Destin Daniel Cretton, I think, is going to kill it. And with everything that's in this so far that we know, Mark Ruffalo's Hulk, John Barenthal's Punisher, Sadie Sink playing some unknown character that I kind of have a very, very funny feeling is going to be a huge part of the Marvel Universe going forward. Zendaya's back. This, I think, is going to be awesome. We don't even know who the villains are. There's rumors out there that there's a lot of them. Scorpion's returning. This is going to be amazing. A lot of animated stuff out this year. Mario Brothers, the live action Moana. What else we got? Clayface. Clayface is going to be a horror film. I'm excited for that. Not in my top 5, but I'm excited for it. Yeah, there's a lot of animated. Cat in the Hat. The Legend of Aang, The Last Airbender, like a lot of animated stuff. Godzilla Minus Zero. I have never been a big Godzilla fan either. New Hunger Games. Violent Night 2. That was a good movie. That was fun. Jumanji 3. Avengers Doomsday, number 1 by far. Number 1 by far. And Dune Messiah. They are coming out, by the way, within a week of one another. Avengers Doomsday, December 18th. Dune Messiah, December 25th. Christmas Day. Crazy. But that is my list. What is yours? What movies are you anticipating in the year of 2026? And then we're going to go to, for Pixel Perspective, we're going to go to my top 5 video games for this year. Top 5 video games. coming out in 2026. Now, on this pod, you're probably going to already know one of mine because I already told you that I may end up game streaming it. Because that's how much I'm excited to play it. And it's that Halloween game that's coming out, the multiplayer Halloween game. You can play single player as Michael Myers. You can play as the people that are in the town and stuff like that. I can't wait for that. So that is, without a doubt, in my top 5. So let me see what we've got here. That's just... I'm looking over these in months. Animal Crossing's New Horizons just came out for Switch 2. They put out some new content for it too. I wish I could play my Switch. My daughter has it. I'll never see that again. Let's see what we got. Let's see if there's anything that looks good. Final Fantasy VII Remake Interguard is coming out for Xbox Series X and Switch 2. I never even finished that. I really, really need to get back into that again. I got to the very first town and it was like it overwhelmed me, and I'm like, there's no way I'm going to get through that. I should really go back to it because I love those. Okay, so I'm through January. Nothing really piqued my interest there. February, Dragon Quest VII. Excellent RPG series. Neo 3. I know that's one that a lot of people are looking forward to. Mario Tennis for the Switch 2. Tomb Raider, iOS and Android. Clue, Murder by Death. Star Trek Voyager, Across the Unknown. Interesting. Always like my Star Trek stuff. Nothing Resident Evil 7. Resident Evil Requiem. So Resident Evil 7 Biohazard for the Switch 2. Resident Evil Requiem for PlayStation 5. Resident Evil Village for Switch 2. So some of the old Resident Evils are coming out for Switch. World of Warcraft Midnight. I just saw an ad for this. I haven't played World of Warcraft in a while. I played every expansion up until like the last few. When I got that one with the dragon flight one where you got your own dragon to fly, that was the last one I played. I could not figure out how to fly that dumb dragon. And it just pissed me off, and I was like, yeah, I'm done. But this Midnight expansion looks cool. Looks really cool. There's always a way for me to go back to this. Although I don't know that the PC that I have right now would play it because my PC is definitely not a gaming PC. So, Fatal Frame 2 Crimson Butterfly Remake. Horror game, obviously. Now this is March. Mega Man. Star Force Legacy Collection. On to April. There's a game coming out called I Am Jesus Christ for the PC. Wow, okay. Before I go, Pragmata. That sounds like a horror game. Diablo 4 Lord of Hatred. So that's another new expansion, I guess, coming out for Diablo 4. They are really milking that. May. 007. A lot of people looking forward to this one. 007 First Light. So many people have remembered the old Nintendo game. The 007 game was one of the most popular games that came out for that. But this is coming out for PlayStation 5, Xbox Series X, and Switch 2 in May 27th. So a lot of people looking forward to 007. For me, probably not. Probably not for me, because I'm not really much of a shooter, like a shooter type game. If it is at all first person, I won't be able to play it anyway. But this one I'll get, Lego Batman. This is definitely one of my top 5. Legacy of the Dark Knight. It's taking place through all the Batman films. So you're going to have like the Michael Keaton Batman stuff, the Michael Keaton Batman characters, the costumes and stuff, the Lego costumes that you'll be able to wear. And it goes through all of the Christian Bale trilogy. It goes through all the movies. So this one looks kind of fun. I'm probably going to pick that up. And I like the Lego games. It skips from May to September. That's weird. So nothing in May, June, July, or August that they don't have. This is from Game Informer. But then, of course, Halloween, September 8th. That is definitely in my top 5. Probably that might be number 1 for me. It's either number 1 or for sure number 2. Then they skip to November, and Grand Theft Auto 6, definitely in my top 5. I have played all the Grand Theft Autos. This one kind of looks like it's going to go back to the Vice City type of scenario, if so, and they have the 80s stuff in it again. Oh, I'm in. I'm all in. But that is either, again, my number 1 or number 2. And then the rest of them are all TBA. So 33 Immortals. That's for Xbox, which I don't have. Let's see if I see anything good in this. These are all alphabetical, so there's a ton. Not going to read them all. Battlestar Galactica Scattered. Whoa, what is this? Scattered Hopes for the PC? A strategy game? Oh, dude. I'd probably play that. I am a big Battlestar Galactica fan. All right, we're up to C. Chrono Odyssey. For PlayStation 5, Xbox Series X, and PC. Mature rated MMO. Don't tell me they're doing an MMO for the Chrono Trigger stuff. What? Hold on. I've got to visit I'm going to the website for this. There's a trailer. An epic journey across time and space. Action-packed MMORPG. Dude. There's some devs notes and stuff here. They had closed beta. Oh my God. If that is an MMO for the Chrono stuff, like Chrono Trigger and all that kind of stuff, oh dude, that is going to be bad. Those MMOs can lose you. Like, I can get lost in MMOs. Clive Barker's Hellraiser's coming out soon if you're a fan of horror. That looks pretty good. I'm just going to try to get through these really fast because there is just a ton. Dune Awakening. Fallout 4 Anniversary Edition. Fire Emblem. Gears of War. Gothic. Halo. Campaign Evolved. Indiana Jones and the Great Circle for the Switch 2. See, some of these are just already, they're already out, but they're just coming out for different systems. Love Eternal. Luna Abyss. Marvel Tokon, that's the fighting game for PlayStation 5 and PC. Marvel's Wolverine, definitely in my top 5. PlayStation 5, for sure that is in there. Outbound, Outward, Over the Hill. Phantasmophobia scares the crap out of me. I would never play that. I've seen people play it online and it's like, nope. So many jump scares in that stuff. RuneScape. Scott Pilgrim EX. Love that movie, by the way. Slay the Spire 2. I heard Ben Roller talking about Slay the Spire. Star Wars Zero Company. There's a lot of Star Wars. Star Wars Zero Company, Star Wars Galactic Racer. Both coming out this year. Super Mario Brothers Wonder for the Switch 2. Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. The Heirloom. Tomb Raider Legacy of Atlantis. That's a remake, I believe. What else we got? Warhammer, if you're a Warhammer person. Never been. Yoshi and the Mysterious Book for the Switch 2. I'm sure I gave you 5, but there you go. That is from Game Informer. That is a lot of the new games that are coming out this year. So they are my top games that are coming out. The Halloween one, like I said, if I'm gonna say that that's gonna get me to stream, that's saying something, because I have never done game streaming. Even with Snap, I have not streamed the game, but that Halloween game, I played Friday the 13th, and I look back at that, and I really probably should have streamed it. But I've never done game streaming, but I heard that it is pretty simple on the PlayStation to do, that you just connect it basically to your YouTube and you just kind of do it. You would need a camera, obviously, which I have. But that is definitely, if that gets me to game stream, that's saying something. But I am definitely thinking about it. But the cool thing about that is, if I do decide to stream the Halloween game, I also may end up streaming Snap at some point too. So that may definitely get me into game streaming in a lot of different ways. Now, obviously, I can't stream Snap from the PlayStation. They don't have it on video games. But I'd have to see. So. But yeah, well, there you go. So that is that. That is the MCU Minute. That is Pixel Perspectives, all kind of wrapped up in one little thing there. And so we are getting to the end here, and I am over 2 hours again, and I promised I wasn't going to do that, but I am. So we're going to get to the lyric challenge, and we're going to go to... Well, you know what? This one, I'm going to go away from Marvel a little bit, because it is a little bit tough to kind of hold things to Marvel. So we're kind of going to go... Now, I started the show talking a little bit about MTV, right? So I'm going to go to one of the biggest videos from MTV. So I'm going to go from I'm going to do the lyrics from one of MTV's most popular music videos. And we'll do that. Shouldn't be too hard, because it's probably going to be, it's going to definitely be probably something in the 80s. Yeah, this is going to be good. This is going to be good. So let's do this. This is not 80s, by the way. Okay, here we go. All right. I'm going to read you. I can't read you some of the chorus, so I'm going to skip around here, and I'm going to read you 2 verses. So here we go. Load up on guns, bring your friends. It's fun to lose and to pretend. She's overboard and self-assured. Oh no, I know a dirty word. I'm worse at what I do best, and for this gift I feel blessed. Our little group has always been and always will until the end. So there you go. That is the lyric for the week. Came out, man. It's got to be 90s, I think. Anyway, you know what? I'll give you the date. Hold on. I want to find out exactly when this song came out. I'll give you another little hint. It was parodied in a really, really hilarious way. Really, really hilarious way. Okay, 1991. Came out in 1991. So yeah, very, 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 very huge. Very, very popular on MTV. And you can say that this particular song really started off a brand new wave of music. So there's the hints for you. So there you go. There is the lyric. You got all the good stuff, all the lists and everything. Hey, tell me what your and again, you want to win that last season pass that I have. Comment. Tell me what this will be on my YouTube page. So you can go comment there. You can comment on Spotify. You can come over to my Discord, comment there. You could send me comments in my DMs. Follow me over on X, and I'll have to follow you back. And you can send me stuff there. You can tweet me with your comments as well. But yeah, tell me what your most anticipated movie is for the year, or your most anticipated video game, or both. And yeah, also let me know, would you guys be interested? Because I definitely want to hear from you. Would you guys be interested in me possibly streaming Marvel Snap and also other video games like the Halloween game? Would that be something that would interest you? Are you fans of horror, or just fans of Michael Myers, or fans of Halloween the movie, or John Carpenter? But let me know. Would you guys be interested in that? Because it's when you start a YouTube channel or you start something like that, it's always kind of lonely if you don't have people watching you. So yeah. So let me know if you would be interested in watching me do that kind of thing. I would appreciate it. So I am a part of the Snap Judgments League of Podcasts, where you can listen to such amazing podcasts as Snap on This with Lauren Whatevs, and of course Benjamin Roller, and It's Just Re. They have that podcast come out every Friday, unlike me, who is completely all over the place. They have a consistent release schedule and are always out every Friday. So you can check them out. I was just listening to their latest episode where they went over all of the data mines, the cards that are coming out in the Age of Apocalypse season. They cover all that. They talk about what they think are going to be good cards, bad cards, and whatnot. And, of course, they have their secret homework that they do every single week. So it's a lot of fun. Go check that out. And also, of course, the Snap Judgments pod itself, Glazer. Glazer is a great dude. Make sure you go check out his pod. He always has really good guests on there. Nick the Greek Geek joins him a lot. Gunny T is on there often. He also has Roy with him on occasion now. And, of course, he'll have some good, cool creators on there as well that will talk to you all about Marvel Snap. So make sure you go check out Glazer's pod as well. His comes out around the weekend. And check out his daily videos. He does a lot of good work and stuff like that with all the decks. And he has giveaways over there too. So go check out Glazer's stuff as well. All right, guys. That is going to do it for this episode of Snap Decisions. Thank you all for listening wherever you choose to do so, whether it is on Spotify or Apple or any other podcast platform, or you are heading over to my YouTube page to check out the video and listen to it there. I'd appreciate that. If you do, please make sure you sub to the channel. I'm over 700 now, which is awesome. I am trying to get to that magical 1K mark. So if you can sub to the channel, I would very much so appreciate that. And also, rate the pod, of course, over on Spotify or on Apple. That helps out too. So thank you all for listening wherever it is you do listen to the show. If you want that last season pass, you know what to do. And that is going to do it for me for this week, guys. Have a great rest of your week in Snap and in the game, however you choose to play it. Please stay safe. Be kind to one another always. And hopefully I will talk to you all on the next episode of Snap Decisions. This is your Snap DJ signing off.